welcome to Time with Lohi Fusion Diaries, where every video we travel to a new country and we're inspired by the culture, more importantly their outfits. This is our first video, so I will be doing a great service to my country if I didn't start off with my country, Nigeria. And I'm going to start off with my culture. That's the Edo culture, the culture of bees, the culture of princes. We are royalty. The culture is just royalty, and I was really inspired by the female attire. The beads, the headgear is called okuku beads, while every other bead is just called coral beads. On the neckline of the brown dress that I sewed, you can see that it's similar to the one of an Edo cultural women's cultural wear. So if you like to see how I sewed this dress, especially the neckline, please make sure to keep on watching. For this tutorial, I'm going to make use of this material that has the brown and yellow mix. We'll need a cloth gum lining, zip, tape, and of course chalk. In the marking of this princess bustier, to know how much fabric we're going to need for our weight, we're going to take a bust measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches. We have our material on fold, so taking my tape, I'm going to mark the hemline, which is 1 inch. On the side where our material is on fold, we're going to mark our nipple to nipple measurement, and the standard measurement is 8 inches to 9 inches. So on folder is 4 inches. We're going to add 0.5 inches for allowance, so that's 4.5 inch. We're going to mark from top to bottom. Next, placing our tape on the line created by our nipple to nipple measurement, we're going to mark our bust length, under bust length, and waist length. The end of the material is the waist length, hence I didn't mark it. On the right hand side of our nipple space, that's the part of the material that is on fold, we're going to mark 1 inch on our under bust and on our waist length. And we're going to connect that together. On the other side, we're going to mark 1.5 inch on the under bust length and the waist length, and we're going to connect that as well. On the 1 inch of our under bust length, we're going to connect it to the point where our bust length and nipple space meet. We're just going to draw a straight line. We're going to do the same thing for the side that has 1.5 inch. We're going to connect it to the point where our bust length and nipple space meet, and we're going to draw a small curve. So if you have a French curve, make sure to use it. Next, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement that is 16 on fold, that is 8 inches. Placing our tape where our shoulder measurement is, we're going to tilt it to the side. I'm going to mark 3 inches. From that 3 inches mark, we're going to place our tape and mark 2.5 inches. From the point where our bust length meets our nipple space, we're going to connect it to the 3 inches. From our 1.5 inch side, the point where our bust length meets our nipple space, we're going to connect it to the 2.5 inches. So just do a curve. To make sure our markings are correct, taking our tape, we're going to measure from the 1 inch mark of our under bust length to the point of our 3 inches. And we're going to do the same thing on our 1.5 inch side of our under bust length. We're going to make sure the 1.5 inch side of our under bust length correlates with the 1 inch side. You see that the 1.5 inch side doesn't match the 1 inch. You just extend it to the exact length of the 1 inch side. From that 1 inch side, we're going to connect it to our shoulder mark. Now we're going to take our tape and we're going to mark our full body measurement. So my bust is 41 inches divided by 4, that is 10.25 plus 3.5 inches allowance, that is 13.75. Now I'm going to mark my under bust. My under bust being 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. Here we're going to add 4 inches allowance, and that will be 12.5 inches. And I'm just going to put the same measurement on my under bust for my waist because they are the same thing. Next, I'm going to join the connected points from our bust to our under bust to our waist. To know where our armhole is going to be, from our under bust, we're going to mark 7 inches up and we're going to draw a straight line. Now from that straight line, the same point where our bust measurement is, that's where we're going to mark as our armhole. On that chest line, I'm just going to mark my bust measurement in the same place and I'm going to connect it to all other measurements. On that chest line as well, we're going to connect it to the 1.5 inch side of our bust. Our pattern is ready and now we're going to cut it. So just watch as I cut. I'm just going to turn it so that you can see how it is. So this is what our princess cut looks like. Now we're just going to transfer it on our material and we're going to cut the back. My material is on fold and I'm going to mark 2 inches from the folded side from the top to the bottom, and I'm going to rule a line that's going to serve as our zip allowance. I'm going to start off by first placing the middle piece, then I'm going to place the other side, then I'm going to make sure that the space between our middle piece and our side piece is exact as when I was cutting it, and that is including the 1 inch and 1.5 inch, that is 2.5 inches, making sure that it is exact on this back piece. Now replicating our nipple space line on our back measurement, I'm just going to use that line to cut through to the middle of our back pieces. That will give us our back pieces. From our waist measurement to our bust measurement, we are just going to cut on that nipple space line, and from our bust measurement we just go ahead to trace out these other pieces as they are. If what I've said is a bit confusing, just keep watching and you understand what I mean. If you need to pin it down so that you don't make mistakes, please go ahead and do that. Our back pieces are ready. Next thing to do is just cut out lining for our front piece, our back piece. Then I'm going to put cloth gum on our front pieces. I've cut out my lining for my side piece and middle piece. I also ironed the cloth gum. As you can see, the area where the bust is going to enter, I just put an extra layer of cloth gum in that space. Same thing with the middle piece, I just put an extra layer of cloth gum. Taking my side pieces, I'm going to attach it to the middle piece with 1/2 inch allowance. I've sewn the two side pieces on either side of the middle piece. So this is what our top is looking like. The top of the dress is looking like. I'm just going to turn it around so that you can see. I use 1/2 inch to sew it in, and I'm just going to iron it out and press it. I also went ahead to notch it so that it can relax well. Next, I went ahead to sew the lining, and I did the exact same thing I did on the fabric. Just iron it and notch it. Next, we're going to do the same for our back pieces. I've attached the pieces for the back as well as the lining, notched and ironed as well. Now for the cutting of this neckline, I'm just going to fold it to the back, and I'm going to pin it together so that when we're cutting it, we don't make any mistakes. Now for the cutting of this neckline, remember we had a seam allowance of 1 inch, so we're going to go ahead and remark that. Then from the hemline, I'm just going to place my tape on that 1 inch and come down by 4.5 inches, but where I'm going to end up sewing is at 5 inches. Placing my tape horizontally on my neckline, I'm going to mark 4 inches for my neckline. By the time I'm sewing it, it's going to be 4.5 inches. Then we're going to connect the necklines and cut. Next, taking the lining of our front piece, I'm just going to replicate that same cutting on it. So we're just going to fold it as well and place our material on it and cut it. Now to cut the neckline that will be reforming, I just placed my tape from the top of our shoulder and I came down by 6.5 inches. That's what I'm going to be cutting out. I'm just going to rule a straight line along there and completely cut it out. In the cutting of this yoke, I didn't remove the lining. The lining is directly under the material. Our yoke has been cut out. We will not be making use of the lining of this yoke, so that can go, but we're going to be using the material as a guide to reform our yoke. As you can see, I've already started reforming it, and I'm going to tell you this for free. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So what I did, I just cut out strips of the material and sewed it together. In the forming of this, I just made 1 inch space in between and placed it diagonally, giving it that shape. Now I've done enough placement to cover our yoke. Next, I'm just going to pin it down to our material. Taking my scissors, I'm going to shape it to our first initial yoke. So our front piece yoke is ready. Now we're just going to use this same yoke and cut out for the back. Only difference being the neckline is going to be smaller because it's the back.
For our back neckline, I just went down by 2 inches, 1 inch being our hemline and 1 inch just being the neckline. Same thing as well, the yoke that I cut out from the front piece, I'm just going to place it on top and I'm going to use that to cut out the back yoke. Same thing as well, I use the back yoke as a guide to reform it using strips. I place each strip diagonally with a 1 inch space. Now that each yoke has been reformed, it's time to place it back. To sew this back is pretty easy with a 1/2 inch allowance. We're just going to place our new yoke in between our main material and our lining. So this is the new fitting of our bustier. The yoke is in between the main material and the lining is just sewn in between with 1/2 inch allowance. Now we're going to do the back and I'm going to come back and show you. Another main part in the sewing of this yoke, sewing of this dress, is the joining of the shoulder, considering that our new yoke is now in the net form. So what I would just say is either you can just go ahead and sew it through so it's completely, or you get a skin net and put it in between and you sew on that and use it as a guide. Then after you've sewn it, you can just go ahead and trim it. But what I did, I just basically just sewed it through. If you look closely, that's the joining. I just joined the diagonal parts of the front and back together and the last and final part in the sewing of this net yoke is the neckline, and I'm so sorry that I lost footage, but I'll just put a video at the end of what it ends up looking like. So considering that we've already shaped it up, we shouldn't really do much again. So I'm just going to cut out a 1 inch strip of the material and sew it on the neckline as a bias. That's just to cover up the rough edges. But yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys loved it. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned to find out the next country we'll be visiting. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you really like it, make sure to like, share and comment. Share it to your friends. Edo people in the house, represent now, represent. Thank you so much for watching my video and I will see you in my next video. Bye.